We all think we know what intelligence is, right? It's about being smart, solving problems. But what if I told you it's something much, much bigger than that? What if it's not just about brains, but a fundamental script that's choreographing the entire universe? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into that very idea. Our whole journey starts with this one, seemingly simple question. Is time the medium that energy exists in? It sounds straightforward, but for physicists, this is where a truly deep and fascinating puzzle begins. And, right off the bat, we hit a wall. From a strict physics point of view, the answer is a hard no. Time isn't a substance like water, it's a dimension. And energy isn't some thing floating around in it. But from a deeper, more theoretical perspective, the answer is yes. Conceptually, you just can't separate them. The math shows that without time, the very idea of energy is totally undefined. So, what gives? Well, this deep connection really boils down to two incredible ideas. First, there's something called Noether's theorem. It basically proves that the only reason energy is stable and conserved is because the laws of physics don't change over time. Then you have quantum mechanics, where a particle's energy is its frequency, literally how fast it vibrates in time. So no time means no vibration, which means no energy. They're locked together. Okay, so maybe medium isn't quite the right word. A much better way to put it is this. Time is the dimension where energy gets to express itself. It's the stage where the performance happens. But if energy is the actor and time is the stage, what's missing from the play? Exactly. What's directing the performance? Think about it. An actor with limitless energy on an endless stage? That's not a play. That's just chaos. It's random noise and a ton of wasted potential. There has to be something else that gives the whole thing purpose and direction. And that something is intelligence. But hold on. We need to completely redefine this word for a second. Forget about brains or biology. Just think of intelligence as a fundamental process of the universe. It's the choreographer that takes all that raw energy and directs it across time to create useful, adaptive outcomes instead of just, disorder. So here's the complete picture, the whole metaphor. Time is the stage, energy is the actor, and intelligence is the script. It's the information, the pattern, the set of directions that turns a random, chaotic performance into a masterpiece. Without that script, energy flowing through time is just noise. It's heat, radiation, a clock ticking in an empty room. All right, so if intelligence is the script, what are the rules of the play? I mean, how does it actually work? How does it optimize reality and fight back against that natural tendency for everything to just fall apart? It basically unfolds in 4 key steps. First, any intelligent system senses what's going on around it. It gathers information to get a clearer picture. Then, it uses that information to model reality, to predict what might happen next. Based on that prediction, it chooses an action to steer things toward a specific goal. And finally, and this is absolutely crucial, it works to improve efficiency, learning how to get more done with less energy. Here's a super simple way to think about it. Imagine you have 2 bees. They have the exact same amount of energy and the same amount of time to find nectar. But one of them has better intelligence. It's just better at recognizing the patterns of where flowers are. That bee is going to harvest way more nectar. It's the intelligence that changes the yield you get from your energy and time. And what's so cool is that this concept doesn't just apply to bees. It scales up, like all the way up, from the laws of physics to the entire cosmos. We can actually map this out as a kind of 7-level hierarchy, showing how this cosmic script plays out, from universal laws all the way to our own human experience. Now, 7 levels can sound like a lot, so to make it easier to wrap our heads around, we can group them into a simple 3-act structure. Act 1 is the hardware of reality, the fundamental laws. Act 2 is the software of life, where intelligence is actively managing energy. And Act 3? Well, Act 3 is the conflict, the human level, where the script can seriously go wrong. So Act 1 is the hardware. These are the first 3 levels, and here the script is perfect and unbreakable. At the very bottom, you have raw energy. Then the fundamental forces, electromagnetism, the nuclear forces, they act like these perfect little logic gates that build atoms. Finally, gravity comes in and directs all that matter, creating the stages, the stars and planets, where the rest of the play can even happen. Then we move into Act 2, the software. This is where intelligence becomes an active participant. On an individual level, our intelligence is constantly optimizing for things like wisdom, health, even wealth. I mean, what is wealth really? It's basically stored energy.
a battery holding the value of your past work. Then you scale up to the collective level, and society itself becomes this higher-order script, getting billions of people to work together to build incredibly complex systems.
But then we get to Act 3, the script errors. This is where human intelligence can fail spectacularly. Just look at the 7 deadly sins through this lens. Suddenly, they're not just moral failings, they're physical failures. Pride, greed, and envy? That's just energy hoarding that starves the whole system. Wrath is a short circuit, a pointless, wasteful explosion of energy. Sloth is just a total refusal to act, a surrender to time. And gluttony and lust? That's a failure of planning. You're just burning through present energy with no thought for the future. Every single one is a path toward chaos.
And all of this, everything we've talked about, it brings us to the ultimate conclusion, the final act. When you boil it all down, the entire story of the universe is this grand, epic struggle between two fundamental forces, order and chaos.
On one side, you have intelligence. That's order. It's directed intent. It's using the present to build a better future. It's a symphony. And on the other side, you have entropy. That's chaos, pure randomness. It's just reacting to the moment with no plan. It is quite literally noise. So if you're going to walk away with just one single idea from all of this, let it be this. Intelligence is the force that marks the transition from energy being just a random event to energy being a directed intent. It's what gives everything a purpose. And to leave you with one final, truly mind-bending thought. Perhaps, in the grandest sense of it all, intelligence is simply the universe using the dimension of time to get to know itself through the beautiful, chaotic, and choreographed expression of energy. What do you think about that?